I should start. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Let me start with a dua, and inshallah we will start our discussion. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So today we will be talking on the 13th word. Today is the fourth part. Just as a reminder, we are again discussing on how the Quranic verses try to show us something that we cannot see, or it reveals meanings to us. And specifically the verse that that is presented in the word is how the Quran can be a source of healing. Inshallah, we will continue the discussion today. And whenever you feel like you have any thoughts to share or feelings or questions, just go ahead and raise your hand. All right. Bismillah. If you want to see and appreciate how, like shining stars, each of the Quran's verses scatters the darkness of unbelief by spreading the light of miraculousness and guidance. I'm going to repeat that sentence. If you want to see and appreciate how, like shining stars, each of the Quran's verses scatters the darkness of unbelief by spreading the light of miraculousness and guidance. So far, if we want to set our mind to a certain place, we need to go to a place where, like, okay, one, I do think there is unbelief, or I know what unbelief is, and I would call some part of this unbelief darkness, and I would need something like a shining star or something to light up this darkness. So let's try to be there. Let's try to be there mentally, like, okay, is there really a place of unbelief that's full of darkness that really requires light of miraculousness and guidance, either inside of me or in my life or around me? If so, then let's see what the author is suggesting to do. Okay, so he's saying, imagine yourself in the age of ignorance and desert of savagery, where everything was enveloped in veils of lifelessness, and nature amid the darkness of ignorance and heedlessness. So we're in a very dark place. Everything is meaningless. Everything is lifeless. No one really knows what's going on. So it's like the darkness of ignorance and heedlessness. No one is awake to what's happening. No one understands what's happening. No one can figure out why is it happening. So it's a very dark place. We don't like it. It doesn't make any sense. And then suddenly from the elevated tongue of the Quran, you hear verses like, whatever is in the heavens and earth declares the praises and glory of God. So literally it's saying the things in the heavens and earth are actually declaring the praises and glory of God, the sovereign, the most holy one, the mighty, the wise. Okay, so I'm in a very dark spot right now. I'm probably not feeling good. I'm probably hoping for this to end anytime soon. And I'm probably hoping that what I'm seeing is not real. But instead, the verse is suggesting is whatever is in the heavens and earth. So it's asking me to look and see what is in the heavens and the earth. Now, after I see it, it's telling me, it's declaring the praises and glory of God, the sovereign, the most holy one, the mighty, and the wise. Okay. See how those dead or sleeping creatures of the world spring to life at the sound of declares the praises and glory. In the minds of those who are listening, who they awake, spring up and mention God's names. So the author is kind of telling me, well, if you're in that darkness and you're hoping to listen to something, you're hoping to be awake, and you're calling on to, or you're trying to mention the maker's names, well, here are the news. Whatever you're seeing is praising and declaring. Declaring the praises and the glory of God. How is this making you feel? Is this relatable at all? The space is open for anybody wants to share. Okay.
For me, I would have been in the earth. I would have been where I am in my life and earth. Seeing so many different things like beauty and, sophisticated creations or sophisticated beings, but I wouldn't have thought to go beyond what I saw without revelation. It would have never occurred to me. So the first thing that always comes to me is like, it would have never occurred to me that I should look beyond it without revelation having asked me to do so.
Thank you. Go ahead, Brother Ali.
Thank you. In addition to what our friend said, when we say we have to look for a revelation, we have to be aware that, first of all, we need revelation. There may be such thing. For this, we have to question the universe, the existence, whatever it is we see in this world, and using our feelings, our human side, we have to say, yes, it looks like interesting, if not really wonderful, but at the end, it is meaningless. Why? I'm going to die at the end of the story. Everything is passing. So what is going on in this world? Why am I in this position? What am I expected to do? Because I cannot stop. The time passing, the things are slipping away from my hands. I cannot hold anything permanently, really, and my feelings are not satisfied. What is going on in this world? And then, as earlier, Shahrani family said, our friend actually, said, when I look at the universe, it doesn't give me an answer. So I turn to myself and say that, look, who made me here? and put me in a contradictory position. This is very important that we may miss this point. Most of the time, although we very frequently refer to this point in this class, because it is so essential, we should never forget this. My feelings and my life as body, my body, continuously experiences the conflict between them. My feelings say, I don't want to lose happiness. I want to be fully satisfied and permanently satisfied as well. My body says, no, sir, or madam, you have to die and disappear. Apparently, it looks like it. And I have the right to question who made me, not necessarily God made me. No, no, no. Okay, let's start from scratch. Whoever made me must be must mean something to me. He's really telling me something, he or it, whatever it is, telling me that I have to look for something, for an explanation, because my conscience and my consciousness continues to disturb me. I am trying to satisfy myself, but there is no way to reach the full satisfaction permanently, although I want permanent satisfaction. What is going on? If someone doesn't start from this point, all the rest of claims for we need revelation, God will speak to us, will be baseless. That is why we have to establish the foundations, although with a few short sentences saying that, look, life is contradictory and the universe is not answering to my questions, concerns. I am in trouble. I have to find a way to solve this, but universe doesn't respond to my question. It itself continues to change. It itself has no free will. So what shall I do? And then I have to start questioning, whoever made me must mean something to me. Who is it? Who is it? And then you start searching for it. Definitely you will hear, when you start searching for it, definitely you will hear that, somebody says, look, I am an illiterate person. I am just an innocent person, but the creator of this universe spoke to me and told me this. Here are the evidence for it. And the language is attractive, the way it speaks, as it is explained here, that what really my existence makes sense is if I refer it to an absolute creator beyond the bounds of this universe. It means the creator, the source of the existence of this universe, must answer. And it answers back to me through the messengers, a person, and says, look, everything declares that I am an absolute being. I am not limited with time and space. I am the source of existence of all this. These things cannot exist by themselves. And human consciousness realizes that, yes, they cannot happen. For example, the cells of my body cannot make me decide about this, about how am I going to be, how am I going to have my feelings. Impossible to explain it in terms of matter itself. So there must be a maker. If there is an art, there must be a conscious artist. Yeah, when I look at the art, art, this piece of art reflects the qualities of its artist. So I say there must be an artist, and I want to communicate with it because my consciousness forces me to do that. Otherwise, I find my existence in a troubled, unsolved position, contradiction. Whole my life will be, I will be experiencing contradictions. That is what we have to always remember to establish our taking for granted vocabulary and make a rationally acceptable base for it, and then speak. We can understand that, my owner is introducing himself to me and asking me to communicate with him, not with the art, piece of art, because I want a new creation, permanent creation, and the piece of art cannot create the permanent, another piece of permanent art. Impossible. So I have to turn back to the artist, look for it, and ask him. It means expect from him to create the eternal happiness and meaningful life through the witnessing of the universe to his absolute qualities. So I will say, yeah, the creator of the universe must have absolute qualities, and he must be able to do that. So always rational base must be established even on a short sentences. Start from there. Thank you.
I like the example you gave, or like how, what I heard you saying was like how it has to start from myself, basically, from asking about my own existence and what am I looking for in it. Whereas the author was starting from a different place. The author was starting from a place of, okay, you probably imagine yourself in a desert in an age of ignorance. So I feel like both of them, they start where I am, and then they slowly take me to the process of arriving at the conclusion that, okay, well then who is the maker of all of this? And then the Quranic verses will reveal exactly what I'm looking for. Is that who do these things belong to? What are they doing? And including me, what am I doing also? I see something in the chat box. Let me read it. All right. Okay, the first comment says, what would mean dead or sleeping creatures? They look like so vivid, lively, even from the perspective of science. Guide comes and says, no, they declare. I'm not sure, is this a comment or a question? If you'd like to explain it, please do. Okay. I'll read the second comment until the first comment is clarified. So the second comment is saying, I have a question. Why must the attributes of the art show the qualities of its maker? For example, just because the art is beautiful, does it have to mean the artist is beautiful? The artist could understand what is beautiful and be able to make beauty, but why do they absolutely have to be beautiful as well? It doesn't make sense to me. Why does the artist have to be beautiful? My understanding is that yes, it's true. The artist needs to understand beauty in order to make beauty. But then when we're talking here, we're using the word art as an analogy. So the ultimate question is, who does beauty belong to? Is it enough that that would be hard to say, why does the artist have to be beautiful? Because then I would have to go into thinking from God's perspective or from the artist's perspective. Instead, what we have is the art. And since we see beauty in the art, we would have to attribute whatever beauty we see in the art to the artist, since the beauty is the direct result from the artist. So if I'm saying the art is beautiful, I'm describing the art. But then who is it that has the ownership of that quality? And since it's a piece of art, it must be the artist. If someone else wants to explain it differently or has a different idea, please do. But that's my understanding of the relationship between calling the art beautiful, and then logically we would conclude that the artist himself has to be, must be beautiful. Go ahead, Brother Adi.
We can say the artist is beautiful, but we have to conclude that the one who gave existence to this universe, which or where I observe beautifying quality, everything is somehow decorated in such a way that my human feelings enjoy it, like it. So I can deduct in the creation that the artist must have a beautiful, beautifying quality. That is why we have to understand that the source of beauty in the things themselves are because the artist made them look beautiful, because he has the quality of beautifying. You know, I cannot imagine the creator of this universe, a beautiful, handsome man, woman, or something meaningless. I cannot imagine the absolute being. So his quality of beautifying is taking place, continuously renewed in the creation, everywhere at the same time. Human reasoning can easily must conclude that the source of beautifying quality must be an absolute being, limitless being. At the same time, everywhere renewed the act of beautifying. There's no way to explain it saying it must be an absolute being. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let us know if you still need a further explanation on that. I will read the comment, and then Anne, you can go ahead and speak. So the comment is saying, the artist expresses beauty as a quality, as a characteristic. Okay, thank you for that. Anne, go ahead.
I'm sorry, actually,
Sorry, you were saying something, and then
I put my hand up by mistake. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
that's okay. Nice to hear your
Okay.
voice anyways.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And then there's another comment that says, whenever we have the time, I think I need to better understand what absolute being means. Okay. I'm sure it will come up either through today's reading or the following discussions. But if you feel like you want to express what is not clear to you about the word absolute, go ahead and maybe we can figure it out together. Okay, thank you all for engaging for this part. Thank you very much. I think I've written some notes, but I feel like I just want to share the last bit of it. Just reflecting on what was being said in this piece. I felt like as I was reading this, I'm like questioning myself why the emphasis of changing how objects look like, or how objects actually have more meaning than they appear to be. And then I felt like, okay, it's interesting that the objects themselves don't change, but it's me who's changing. When for example, seeing a tree and just calling it or describing it in branches and leaves and whatnot, and then seeing the tree after the verse and saying, oh, it must be declaring, or it must be praising God somehow. What really changed is how I see it, and how I relate to it, and how I feel about it, and what I expect from it. And then eventually how I treat it and how much I appreciate it. So what really changes is my relationship to it. And then I felt like, okay, well then this is what healing is. Because the verse that this word is discussing from the very beginning is how the Quran is healing. And back in the old me would not understand what kind of healing is it. When I say the words, I'll heal, or what is it? And then I feel like, okay, if I actually contemplate on what the Quran is saying and actually study how I view things, and then how the Quran is suggesting to view things, then the real change happens within me. And then I felt like, okay, then I must be healing from viewing things as meaningless or lifelessness. In other words, like healing from what is not true, basically. I will continue reading.
Sister, I really appreciate what you said. I had the same sort of experience where it's like now the tree becomes an extension of revelation. Now we see how revelation is becomes everything around us. Once we become a reader, once we learn how to read, then all of a sudden there's words, not just shapes that don't have meaning to us around them. And I agree, it's the inner transformation of becoming a reader that all of a sudden everything becomes revelation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see some conversation happening in the chat box. Let me catch up. All right, I'll read. Okay, there's a comment that says, love the meaning of healing. Thank you very much. And then Brother Ali was responding to the word absolute. Absolute equals something cannot be thought of within our capacity, limitless, and cannot be likened to anything of this universe. And then Qasim was adding, is it cannot or can be, but in its eternity? Oh, let me see what cannot was linking to. Something cannot be thought of, or is it something can be, but in its entirety? Oh, okay, this is tricky. Brother Ali, go ahead. I think that's this you can clarify to us.
It is a good
Regard.
point. That's very, very excellent comments are going on and discussions are going on. So we have to make the distinction, that's what I understand, the necessity of such absolute existence of a such absolute being can be comprehended by human beings. Necessity of, for example, any of the qualities we see in the art of this universe points to the necessity of the existence of the qualities as being qualities of the creator as being absolute. The essence of absolute qualities cannot be comprehended, but their existence not only cannot be, must be comprehended, and we can. We are able to do this. We are given the ability to understand that there must be such a being who has these qualities as to be the source of existence of the qualities I can see manifested, displayed in the piece of art of this universe, in myself as well. So existence should not be confused with essence of the things. For example, by looking at a piece of art in this world, or anything actually, made, a table, for example, you can conclude that a conscious being has designed and made it. A conscious being. That's why it is important, a conscious being. Can I comprehend the nature of this conscious being? No. Do I have to? It is not within my capacity. No, I don't have to. But my responsibility is to make sure that such an absolute being must exist, and I am his product. I have to refer my needs, human needs, to him, not to the art, piece of art itself, to the source of the art of the universe. That is the transformation we needed. That is, in this case, the creator who gave existence to the universe responds back through its messengers, speaks to somebody, and through that, this somebody must be somebody who cannot really be the source of this information. That is why most of the prophets are really uneducated people, but extremely honest and loyal people. Honest people, trustworthy people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One more comment. The trees are such a good example of praising the glories of God. Their roots extend deeply and widely to even speak to other trees and give them water when in need. They bear fruits, they provide shade, they provide materials for housing and cooking. Only an absolute being could create them. Why then would humans deliberately deform, destroy the gifts given to them? I struggle with this. Thank you very much for sharing this insight and your struggle.
Excuse me, it is the last small phrase was beautiful. I struggle with this. That is why we see that the revelation from the creator of this universe continuously warns us. They say, he is an angry God. No, no, no. We human beings need to be warned that we should not destroy his creation, which works perfectly within itself, but use it. Just try to satisfy your needs. For your bodily needs, look after the trees and get the fruits and benefit from them. For our spiritual needs, look at the way they are created rather than exploiting it, rather than destroying it. What nowadays going on, those people who study the universe, that really bothers me a lot. Those people who study the universe, they study it not in order to communicate with its source of existence, but to exploit it, use it for their bodily needs only, and say existence of the universe is meaningless. There is no need to question about the meaning because it happened by itself. So that they don't really benefit from the universe for their spiritual needs, and get the answer and get the satisfaction. They only use it to produce new technologies in order to make money. And by the way, these technologies must be appealing to human beings. So this technology must help them only for their bodily needs. For example, they make the transportation means, but mostly for originally for war, aircrafts or how to say warships. So, but as a side production, they make airplanes as well. They carry my body from one place to another very fast. All right, thank you for this, because it is for the satisfaction of my body. But still my body has in it my spiritual needs, my questions, my concerns. Who is playing with me in this world, giving me beautiful opportunities, and then killing me? Well, is it a crazy creator, or what is that? When we look at it, the way the universe is created doesn't have any sign of craziness of its maker. It is a perfect creator, creates everything in perfect measurement for a purpose and in a beautiful way, useful way, etc. So what is going on? This is the human problem. We have to be very, very careful not to use the universe only to satisfy our bodily needs. We have to be very careful the way today's scientists claim that they explain the universe. They do nothing. They bring no answer, satisfactory answer at all to my spiritual needs. But they prepare the means of making technology, and those people exploit the human weaknesses and uses the technology and just makes money for themselves. Oh, by the way, human beings benefit from it. For example, I am using the laptop. Thank you. But it doesn't satisfy, because I am using the laptop. It doesn't satisfy my human needs. I don't want to die away. I don't want to go into complete non-existence, but I have to be spiritually satisfied as well. It means I have to have a permanent life, existence. Who is going to guarantee it? None of the technological gadgets can really satisfy my needs, spiritual needs. That is why we should not reduce our existence to body only. So I have to look for satisfaction for my body as well as for my human concerns. It was a beautiful point. I struggle as well. Why people don't really, these people really look for the meaning in existence, reduce it to natural happenings, accidental happenings, developing themselves, evolving themselves as if they are conscious beings, making everything perfect. At the matter, everybody knows that matter is matter. You see, it doesn't have any qualities apart from obeying the order of the universe and existing within the order of the universe as they are given existence. They cannot have any choice at all. They have no free will. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's see, we have another couple of comments. Thank you for your insight, Brother Ali. It's very helpful. These people who are materialists are dominant. Another comment says, this relates to the discussion we had a few weeks ago, where we confirmed we are created perfectly as being prone to corruption. And then as Ali's saying, this also confirms our need to warning from a loving warner. The last comment says, it looks like to me that science also reads the universe even better than anyone else and gets amazed. But when text says creatures are dead in their perspective, then it must mean they bring message to them, but not necessarily from absolute one, which Quran or guide says. But when text says creatures are dead in their perspective, then it must mean they bring message to them, but not necessarily from the absolute one, which the Quran or guide says. And in response to that, Anne agrees, indeed it does. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Maybe we can continue reading a little bit more. All right. And at the sound of another verse, the seven heavens and the earth and all within them extol and glorify him. The stars in those black skies, all lifeless pieces of fire, and wretched creatures on the face of the earth, present the following view to those listening. The sky appears as a mouth, and the stars, each as wisdom displaying words, and truth uttering lights. So the sky is not just the sky, it appears as a mouth, and the stars, each as a wisdom displaying words and truth uttering lights. The earth appears as a head, the land and sea as tongues, and all animals and plants as words of glorification. Otherwise, you will not appreciate the fine points and pleasure at looking from this time to that. For if when you consider its verses, you see them as having scattered their light since that time, and become like universally accepted knowledge with the passage of time, and as shining with the other lights of Islam, and taking their color from the sun of the Quran, or if you look at them through a superficial and simple veil of familiarity, you will not truly see the darkness each verse scatters, or how sweet is the recital of its miraculousness. And you will not appreciate this sort of miraculousness among its many varieties. Okay. Anything here before I move on? Okay. Because we're about to read a different comparison. If you want to understand one of the highest degrees of the Quran of miraculous exposition's miraculousness, listen to the following comparison. Here's another analogy. Let us imagine an extremely strange and vast and spreading tree, which is concealed beneath a veil of the unseen and hidden in the level of a concealment. It is clear that there has to be a relationship, harmony, and balance between a tree and all its members, like its branches, fruits, leaves, and blossom. The same as between man's members. Each of its parts take on a form and is given a shape in accordance with the nature of the tree. So, remember, all of this, the tree and everything is beneath a veil. It's not really seen. So if someone appears and traces a picture on top of the veil, corresponding to the members of the tree, which has never been seen, then delimits each member, and from the branches to the fruit, and the fruit to the leaves, draws a form proportionately, and fills the space between its source and extremities, which are an infinite distance from one another, with drawings showing exactly the shape of and form of its members. Certainly, no doubt will remain that the artist sees the concealed tree with an eye that penetrates and encompasses the unseen. Then he depicts it. All right. So if you all did this with me, you've all imagined as an extremely strange and vast and spreading tree, and it's beneath a veil. However, there has to be a relationship between a tree and all its members, such as the branches and the fruits. And if someone comes and traces this tree on top of the veil, then you will be able to see the concealed tree. In other words, you will be able to see the unseen, or what is beneath the veil. What does this mean to you? My only thought reading this was, okay, he's turning the unseen to seen. And I really like the idea that the veil is something that is showing, not really covering, but showing something. We have a comment. The veil over the tree is a beautiful way to explain the unseen. Would you like to say a little bit more about that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I've been listening to Brother Ali speaking about the unseen over many of these discussions, including the ones on Monday and Wednesday. And he makes much reference to Grad. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. Haib, the unseen. And I just think that to try and explain it, it's difficult. But then when you take the example of the tree with a veil over it, and then how the veil is stretched to sort of reveal all the elements of the tree, then the unseen becomes seen. It seems like a beautiful way to explain that sometimes difficult concept of unseen, because it's kind of an abstract concept, but this makes it very real. And if I needed to explain it to someone else, this is a beautiful way to do it. So thank you.
Thank you, of course. Thank you. Go ahead, Brother Adi.
Yeah, thank you for the comments, beautiful comments. So we have to understand the word veil, like screen. For example, I am looking at the screen of my laptop. What is this? It looks like it is preventing me from seeing what is beyond it. What is beyond it? Depending on where I pay attention to. For example, do you imagine, or can you imagine that there is a net curtain on the window? Very simple example, net curtain on the window. Okay, there are two ways of using it. One is paying attention to the net curtain itself, or because it is not completely closed, that doesn't show it is behind at all, look at what beyond it. What does it mean? What is beyond it? What does it mean? Instead of looking at the screen and saying that it prevents me from what is beyond it, behind it, but I can use the same screen in order to project the program is presenting to me. Now the universe is in the minds of the people, or in the approach of the people who don't want to see nothing what this screen demonstrates, projecting the original source, whatever the knowledge or qualities the original source is demonstrating there, they deny the meaning. They say universe is meaningless. That is a very crucial point. All the materialist people who interpret the universe say universe is meaningless. And what is important even to pay attention to, one of the very famous great minds, actually, these people are smart, but not they are not smart to understand the meaning reflected on the veil screen of the universe. They are just analyzing how the net curtain is designed, made. But the net curtain says, look, beyond me, I have signs, holes, shows what is beyond me. So that we have to understand this veil example in the language of the Quran, and also the word ghaib, as it is translated and said, it is translated as unknown or unseen. No, it is knowable. It can be seen to the eye of one's insight, not material eye looks at the matter itself. So mine, for example, very simple example, we give always this example. If you receive a gift from a person, do you pay attention to the gift itself or the meaning in receiving the gift from this person? What does he mean? What does he express? Materialist people get the gift of the universe and says, oh, I can use it in this way. Forgets about the source of this gift. Where did it come from? They say, oh, it happened to be in my head. I'm using it. Or if it is something eatable, starts eating it. They are using for material purposes only, technology productions only, which helps human body, not human needs really. So they don't see the universe as a screen where it is creator, source of existence is projecting its qualities on it. That is the difference between the materialist people's approach to the world and the Quran's approach, Revelation's approach to the world. The creator of the universe always draws our attention to be careful and read what is reflected in the work of the universe, qualities of its creator, rather than how it itself is happening. You cannot explain it, Quran says. How? Because the things, the beings in this world, any part, big or small, maybe particles of the things, do not have any quality to be the source of existence of themselves, as well as nothing, not another thing as well. They cannot choose, they cannot know, they have no power, they have to exist as they are employed. For example, my laptop, like yours, is working just because it is made in this way. When I press on any key, this function comes out. Not because of the key is choosing it, but the engineer of the laptop has given the function to it to do this job. This is how it, so the keys of the laptop cannot, no way to operate on their own will. They are made in this way. The keys of my laptop represents the particles of this universe. It means foundational matter of this universe, whatever it is. They are employed in this way. That is why they function as we see it. So ghaib means here, it was the good comment actually, demonstrating the universe, how or what its source of existence should be. And we understand that this source of existence cannot be limited to the limitations of the boundaries of this created world. Cannot be limited. So we understand that if it is not limited, for example, a number, I cannot really put a number on it. What I say, impossible to comprehend the content of this. That is why a human mind says it is infinite. It must be infinite. That's why in mathematics they use infinite in order to demonstrate that it is not countable at all. It is a completely different nature. So we cannot really mention about any number demonstrating and showing the content of the infinite. So infinite means something which cannot be represented by a number. Exactly the same way, the creator of this universe cannot be represented itself by any part of this universe, even it is in its entirety. So we have to say, I cannot comprehend. It is essence. That is ghaib. I call ghaib means absoluteness of its creator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and share the comments as well. So there's a comment that says the veil itself draws our attention to the beyond and it helps us know the real picture. And someone said yes, thank you. Another comment was, if I'm materialistic, I'll be stuck in the gift. This is responding to the gift analogy that Brother Ali was just talking about. But the merciful Rabb doesn't satisfy my inner quest. If I get stuck in the gift, as it is made to perish, Directing me to the source. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. We have a question. Can the angels be seen behind the veil or screen? And finally, like movie theater veil. Oh, there is always, I'm guessing you're talking about the curtains that are covering the stage. Oh, okay. Let's see. Anne, would you like to explain? Did you want to add something?
Not sure. I've always, another struggle I have is trying to understand the concept of angels. I know they bear the meaning or carry the meaning of the creator. So if the meaning is behind the veil, then I guess it would seem to me that the angels are operating behind that veil, and they're seen through the manifestation. They can be seen through the manifestation of the qualities of that particular object, such as a tree or bird or cloud. That's my understanding. I don't know if I'm correct or not. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Thank you very much, Brother Ali. Go ahead.
It's a very practical question, actually, because in a general language, we use ghaib for the absolute creator and also next creation and also angels. Angels are ghaibi. What does it mean? In fact, if you read closely, it's not very difficult really. If you read closely, we understand that ghaib is divided into two, the term ghaib into two, which is, let me use the original language, ghaib al-mutlaq and ghaib al-nisbi. What does it mean? Relative ghaib and absolute ghaib. The essence of the creator is absolute ghaib, impossible to comprehend. But the essence of angels, the next creation, etc., means it is beyond our perception within the limitations of this world. What does it mean? For example, I can understand that when I use this example very frequently, which explains most of the riddled problems, puzzling problems. The book, when I look at the book, I see the paper and some scribbles on it. I can see it, but when I pay attention to the way the scribbles, what does it mean there? They represent the meaning in them. The author's knowledge is transferred to me as the reader through the shapes and the qualities of these writings. Now, meaningful writing, they are not meaningless. So we have to understand that the universe is transferring the meaning, therefore, to the qualities of its author. So this meaning side of the universe is realized or explained in the revelation with the word angels. We even also see another word in the revelation saying angelic side of the universe, melekutiya. Angelic side of the universe is like the meaning of the book. Look at the meaning of the book. Don't lose yourself in the paper, quality of the paper, quality of the ink, whatever is materially existing there. Try, you are a human being, you are a conscious being. Try to see the meaning in reflected in this book. This meaning is the angelic side of the book. That is why it is ghaibi, because we can understand that meaning is there, but we cannot materially observe it at all. This is called relative ghaib. Absolute ghaib is the creator. Relative ghaib is the manifestations of anything in the universe that we cannot really see it materially. For example, when you receive the gift, you receive the gift as something that you enjoy. But can you really see the meaning in the gift itself materially exposed? No. But if you say that the person who presented this this gift expressed his, for example, loving relationship with me, his love for me, this is ghaib. Why? Materially you don't see it, but you see in the gift, the way you received it, the meaning, angelic side of the gift demonstrates the feelings that the gift giver is trying to convey to you. That's what we should make the distinction between two types of ghaib, not to confuse God's essence, creator's essence, but meaning side of the universe is represented in the language of the Quran, angelic side of the universe, angels, it is said. They clarify, of course, the meaning in the book declares the knowledge of the author. And I cannot say that this knowledge is coming from the paper or ink. This must have an author. And this author must have knowledge. He expressed his knowledge in the writings of this book. Thank you. It's a good practical questions and conversations, mashallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry the screen got disconnected, but thank you everyone for participating today, and thank you for staying through the discussion, and thank you for being patient. We'll end it here, and inshallah we'll continue our discussion next week. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.